Okay, so I've got my space there that still has a few solids from last week, but I'm going to just clear those out completely using Control to select multiple, and then start again. So with the plan view, it's a good chance just to go over a lot of the main drawing tools and editing tools as well. So I'm going to go to make a new extrusion, or a new set of extrusions. So remember, the main way to get to that is model in place under component, and then again generic models for your category. And so then this time though, I'm going to give more meaningful names for the different elements, and that's a really good idea once you start making things, if you know what they are. So I'm going to start with columns, and so that's what I'll call this. And now, simply using the extrusion tool, I'm going to draw a rectangle over. I'm making columns on the intersections of my black bands, so that's where I'm going to draw it. But I'm drawing it pretty roughly to begin with. Then I'll come back and adjust the dimensions and make them, or round them off essentially. And so whenever you see these blue numbers pop up, that means you can adjust it. Generally, if it's blue, you can click on it and change that measurement. Now, if you lose them, if I press Escape twice, that'll cancel all the commands. Basically puts it back to modify, which means that I can select anything and change it if I need to. So that way you should be able to select any of the lines and adjust any of the measurements that you need to change. So again, I've got the size I want there, 300 by 300 is what I'm after. And now I'm going to draw another rectangle. So you can have more than one shape in an extrusion, that's okay. And so that one's a bit bigger, and it's probably not really in line with the previous one. That's okay. So I'll just draw another one down here, and another one roughly over here. Okay, so they're roughly where I want them, but this one is the only one that's the size I want. So again, I'll press Escape twice, and now I'm going to go and just show you a couple of tricks to help you adjust things. With the Align tool, I can pick any of the edges, and so I'll pick one of the edges on my first rectangle, and then I can pick the edge I want lined up with that. Okay, so it's automatically going to align things. Okay, so this time I'll pick the bottom. And now again I'll pick the bottom of this other rectangle. So I know that is now 300. And it's lined up with the previous one. Align. Yeah, so that's in the Modify panel. So you need to be in Modify and on the Modify tab. And then so now I need to select one of these lines to set my size again. So I'm going to press Escape to cancel the Align tool, select my line and put that back to 300. But now I can go ahead and use Align again. This time I'll pick one of those lines above, and now I can line up this one below. So notice you pick the thing to align with first, that's your alignment edge. You're lining things up with that, and then you pick the things you want to align, or the things you want to move. Okay, so then I can do the same here, lining up that shape at the bottom, or this rectangle at the bottom with my first rectangle. Okay, so that's all lined up, but now again I need to just get one of these into position. So all I've done there is, let's show you again, I've just selected that line, and you can always click and drag on a line to move it. But another handy shortcut there is just the arrow key. So using the arrows on the keyboard will nudge things up and down. That's a useful way of moving things. If I select the line at the bottom, then I can change that measurement to be exactly 300. So again, I've got 300 square. And now, again, with a line, I can line up that rectangle's edges with my new final rectangle or square. So again, this is my new alignment edge. That's the edge I want to align with. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, that's a lot of work to just get 4 copied rectangles, and it is definitely the long way of doing it, but I just wanted to show you the align tool. And a good way of selecting, if you haven't tried already, is with a window, so I can go around these lines, and another command in that modify panel that's really useful is copy. So I'll click the copy button, and there you need to give a base point before clicking your new point. Yeah, those are the main tools. Trim and split I want to show you as well, we'll come back to those. So again, while you're making these shapes, there are lots and lots of different ways of drawing, using obviously the line and the rectangle tool mainly here. And then again, there'd be a few different ways of using the different modify tools to get the copies, but just try those different methods out as you're making even these simple shapes. Now before I finish this with the tick, I'm just going to put an end height in over here in properties. I'll make that say 4,000. Tick to finish, and then going into 3D, you can see the objects have a height. I'll just repeat that with the trick I showed you before. So going into the section view, if you remember, the mezzanine level was up above the ground. So I'm going to open up the mezzanine level, back on create, click extrusion, then switch back to the view that has the image before I draw my rectangle. I'll just do one here just to give you the basic idea. Okay, so the end there, or the depth at the top here, will be the same. I'm going to set that to 300, the height for my beam. Tick to finish. I'll have a look at that in 3D. So, just finally to finish this off, the beam's up at the height of the mezzanine level where I want it to be, but maybe I want the columns to go to that level as well, or maybe even to the level above. So I'm going to go into my section view, where I can see those columns from the side, and then I'm going to select really any one of them, doesn't matter which one. Using the arrow at the top, I can stretch that so it snaps. You'll see it'll lock to the level, right? Level 1 over here, and then I can padlock to lock them together. Okay, so that means if I finish this model now, I can move the level up or down, and you can see that the columns change their height and move with the level, which is a really useful thing. Yeah, but those things maybe will be a bit more obvious once you go and try them. So anyhow, I'll give you some time, so I'll just finish the recording there, unless, well, if you have any questions about extruding, or don't want to go too much further with it anyway, because you won't